Hello and welcome, friends, to this week's episode of Old Man Robertson. This time around, I'm going to show you how to make this layered turkey. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to go to Google, pick out some images, and we're going to then go to Lightburn. And I do everything in Lightburn. I know there's other ways, but Lightburn is what I'm familiar with. So we're going to do everything in Lightburn, show you how to do that, get the images converted over to the files, and then we're going to cut this thing out and get it assembled. So just in time for Thanksgiving. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is you go to Google and just search for turkey silhouette. And you go over to the images tab, and you see you can come up with a lot of options here. So I think I'm going to use this one. And click on it. It comes up over here. Just right click and hit copy image. And we'll go to Lightburn. And I do all of this in Lightburn. So, I know there are other ways to do it. There's Inkscape and there's online tools, websites that you can do this kind of stuff. If you guys know a better way, an easier way, please leave me a comment. Let me know. This is just the only one that I currently know how to do. I know there are other ways. This is what I do. So you go here and paste. Now you want to click on it, right click again, trace the image. And there we go. We've got the outline. So now come up and ungroup up at the top. And you're going to want to get rid of this. And we'll get rid of this little bit right here. Let's zoom in here a little bit and see what we got. Okay. We'll go ahead and get rid of this one too. What we're doing is we're creating the overall outline. Okay. So now I think to make it just a little bit better, a little bit easier, we need to clean this right here up a little bit. Actually, you know what? Let's just leave that. We'll try it and see how it comes out. That may end up being a fragile spot right there, but we'll look at it and see. So this is our overall outline. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead, and it's just the one solid line. There's no grouping necessary now. And now, how big do we want this thing? Let's make it about 6 inches tall. So there we go, 6 inches tall, 6.88 wide. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to copy it. And then we'll come up here off the page somewhere and we will paste. That's our master. So now that's our very back layer. Okay. Now we can go back in here. We can take this one now and come over to the offset tool. We'll offset. You could go 1/8 is a little bit thin. I like to go maybe 3/16, but we'll kind of check it out. We'll move this over out of the way and you can watch this here. Be sure you go inward. click the inward. It will offset to the inside. So there's 0.062. There's an eighth of an inch at 0.125. That's looking pretty good. Let's see. 0.1877 is the next click up. That is pretty close to 3/16 of an inch right there. That looks good. And if you'll look, you can see if you do a real thin outline, you've got this little bit of a foot still in here. And you bring it up a little bit, you've got just that tiny little piece. If you go to 3/16, it takes out some of these spots here. And you've got one nice, smooth, open area here to work with. So we'll leave it there. We'll go right there. Okay. So now we've got the overall outline. Now this is going to be our front piece, but it's also going to be the template that we use for all of the other layers. Everything that we put inside here now has to fit within this inner line. And then the very front piece is just going to be cut on the outside line and cut on the inside line. And it's just going to be an outline to give one more layer to add just a little bit more depth to the design. So I think that looks pretty good. So what we're going to do is we'll go ahead and highlight it. We will group it together. And we will go up here, off to the side somewhere. We'll go come on, way off the screen. And now that is our front layer. Remember, over here, this is our back layer. So now we're going to copy this one. And if you'll look, this one still has the exact same dimensions as this one over here. There, because we copied this one first, everything's going to be the same size. Everything is going to line up like it's supposed to. Okay. Now, let's go back down here. And we will paste the newly copied design. Now, what do we want to put in here first? So let's put this out in the woods. Let's put this scene out in the woods. Now, I have a little bit of a library over here with landscape features, forests and mountains and such. But if you don't have that, if you're just starting out or if you're just starting with this type of thing, again, you can go to Google and let's say type forest silhouette. And as you can see, you can get tons of options here. Just tons to choose from. And if you don't like what you see, maybe type in trees silhouette or pine forest silhouette or oak forest silhouette, or you vary your words a little bit if you're not getting the exact results that you're looking for. But you would do the same thing. You find one you like, click on it, come over here, right click, copy the image, and then go back to Lightburn and paste the image in. I do have a library here, so I'm going to go ahead and use one of the ones that I've got. Giant. So we'll shrink this guy down some so we can get it on screen there. Good. Okay. Now you can also drag by the corners, of course. No. In here. What I'm looking for now, all we really need on this first layer. This is going to be the second layer from the bottom. So this layer will sit directly on top of just the outline. This is our first layer as we're building up through the design. So we'll go, all we really need is just this top line here. Okay. I'll show you why in just a second. So we're going to come up here, pretty high. Maybe something like that. Okay. Now, what we need to do, we'll zoom in a little bit more. What we will do, we'll select our design we just laid in there. Then we come to the node editor, which is the symbol right over here. You're going to click here. You can see all these nodes, all these little dots in here. These are all the nodes in this line that make this shape possible. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we've got this in here, and we're going to have to do it the hard way. Your Boolean tools over here won't work for what we need to do with this, unfortunately. So the hard way is to come over here. You got this new image selected. You come to the node editor. You see all these little nodes in here, all these little dots. This is what makes this image from just this line. So this in here is this small little laptop screen. It's hard to squeeze everything in. So let's do, what we can do is we can highlight down here. We're not keeping this. Remember, all we're keeping is the top line. So if we just hold over a node, it's Shift D. It deletes that entire node. Actually, it deleted everything that I had drawn the box around. For some reason, my computer just wasn't showing that it was highlighted. That's good. That's what we wanted. That made it a little quicker. Forgive me, I don't have the best laptop here. So you can go right here, Shift D, just hold over the node you want to get rid of, Shift D to delete. And again, draw a box to highlight some of them. I have more than one. Shift D gets rid of all of them. And we're going to go all the way up to the very top of this image. I think maybe we'll stop right up here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and hover over this line, this dotted line you see here. Hit Shift D on it. Now, what we've got is an open-ended line. It's not a enclosed shape anymore. So we'll come up here. Now, let's stop with that one. Now, we'll go over to the other side and clean it up. And it's stopped right up here at this corner. That looks good. I think we'll leave that there. So now what we'll do, actually, we'll go to this inner line. And we are going to go right above this node. We're going to go to this line. and Shift D. That actually erased too much. Those little blue nodes there are for changing the curve. So what we actually want to do is come in here right at the end of this line, go Shift I. That adds a new node right there at that point. Okay. Now we can come above that one, hit Shift D. That part is gone. Okay. And I actually just told you backwards. I'm on the wrong side. So we're going to undo this. We're going to come to the line below. Delete that. We deleted that node. Now let's delete this line now. Because what we're going to do, this will be solid. This part up here above the tree lines is going to be what gets cut out. Okay. So all of these nodes down in here, we're going to delete in just a minute. This will be solid piece of wood. The only thing that will actually get cut out is this area up here and up in here. Well, so to do that, we need to make this line connect with this line. And I'm sure there's a trick to that too. I do not know it. So I'm just going to, there we go. I keep moving them around until they line up. And you can tell you've got it connected because we were working on this line and now this line shows its nodes too. Okay, so let's go over to the other side. Zoom in. You can see here's a node on the corner, and then here's one. This blue one just changes the curve. We've got one right there, one up here. We're going to put one, let's put one right here. So you go where you want it, you hit Shift I. That creates a node right there. Now we'll come below that. We'll go to this line here. Shift D deletes the line segment between the nodes. Now all we have to do is connect the dots. And looks like that one took on the first try. Okay. So now we can come down through here. I just highlight a few, Shift D, takes out that whole section, see? Any of them that you've got highlighted here. Shift D, takes them all. See, we don't have this line selected, so dragging the box like that won't affect your outside line. So we'll come on around, we'll get a bunch of them. Shift D. Like I said, this takes a minute. This is the only way I know how to do it. I'm sure there are other ways, maybe much easier ways. This is just the only way I know how. But now you can see what we've got here. This piece will cut. We'll have the outside outline. And then it's going to cut out this hole. Let me get off of that node editor so you can see a little better. I won't click off of it. It's going to cut this out and just come and cut out this top section. All right. So we'll have this overall piece with just a hole in it right here. Let me select them both, and I'll put it on the fill. I'll change it to fill, so you'll see. So that's what we'll have. That's what that piece of wood will look like. This will be the open spot here that's cut out. Okay. Continue. Put it back online. Okay. Now, we will select that whole thing. We'll group that together. Now, this layer will be the next one here, the next closest one here. So we'll keep going. I won't bore you with the rest of it. It's already getting pretty long. But that is the design process. And what we do next is pick a different forest outline, and it'll be smaller. The cutout area will be bigger. So the next layer comes on up. And I've already got one designed. So I want to do, this was to show you the process. So I'm going to go ahead and delete those. And I want to go into my library, and I've got this on all these different colored layers, basically just to show what we've got here. So I'm going to turn each layer off. So here's the back. This is just the outline. Right. Then the next layer, let's see. There we go. There's the next layer. It's just the outline with this space here cut out. Okay. There's the next layer. It's the outline with then this in white would be cut out. So you got another row of trees, but they're lower down. Then we have, let's turn that one off because it's so bright. There's another layer that's going to cut out here, and it's going to cut out, and we got these trees engraved here. Okay. There's the front layer, and this, we got a few little turkeys hanging out down here in the bottom in front of these trees. Okay. So I'm going to get this all set up, and we're going to be using the Xtool D1 Pro today. I'm going to be cutting it out of 3mm basswood, and I'll get it framed. And I've actually got this one, I've got it set for a width of 11.8, so it'll be one whole sheet because I use the 12x12 sheets. So we'll get it all framed up, and we'll get started burning, and I'll be back with you. All right, guys, there we go. We got it going. I apologize. I think my audio went out on the last one. I think my battery died in my microphone. But I use painter's tape, as you can see there, to hold the board down, just to help keep it from warping and kicking up a little bit. But we are cutting out the back layer now. So you've seen a little bit of this process before, so I'm going to skip ahead now. We're going to cut out all the layers, and then I'll show you the finished product. All right, there we go. I don't have it glued together yet, but what I'll do is glue each layer together, and I'll make a few more of them. Have it up on my Etsy soon. Uh, Maybe a week or so, I'll have this available on Etsy. And what I'll probably do is offer a couple different versions. Uh, I'll do it unassembled. So if you want to, you can come in here and paint each of these layers and glue it together yourself. Or, it looks pretty good like that. I may offer that as an option too. And I may paint or stain a few of them and do that. So, couple, three different options there. Um, I think it turned out really well. Let's see. It's not lined up just perfect, not glued together yet, but here you can see for only the second one I've ever done and designed from scratch, I think it turned out pretty good. Now also, I've got a deer that I did the same thing with. There's a lot of layered deer designs out there that they have hunters in them because hunting season coming up. I did one for the people that don't hunt. There's no hunter in it. It's just several deer in the woods and everything. So I will have it available as well. I'll get a few of them made and then I'll get them listed. So I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.